All right, I woke up from a nap and I saw a tweet from Wildhead basically saying that Blizzard has announced dungeon tuning that will be coming to Neltharus and Uldaman June 4th and 5th this weekly reset. Whenever I read this, I was like, oh wow, this is sick. I didn't think we were going to be getting any dungeon tuning. And whenever you think about Neltharus, the problem points of Neltharus, the hunters being just menaces, the bold ambush damage probably doing 75% more damage than it reasonably should. You could even make arguments that the lava spray and the volatile mutation from Magma Tusk is doing about 10 to 15% more damage than it reasonably should. Chargath has a couple of bugs that maybe should be looked to fix. On top of that, Forge Master, you could also make a reasonable assessment that Forge Storm and Heat and the Blazing Aegis damage could come down, 10, 15%. Those are kind of things that you're like, oh my god, these need to be happening with Neltharus. Uldaman, on the other hand, is a massive shit show, where I would nerf 4 out of the 5 bosses by a convincing amount. Bromac, totem health and totem damage, I would bring all of that down by, I would bring the totem health down by 10% and the damage dealt by the AoE down by, 15% or something like that. For Sentinel, this mob is cringe. I would probably reduce the amount of Earthen Shards that were cast, just in general, to lower the requirement of Evoker and, bleed removal and Dwarf on this fight, because I think it's quite bad. I would also maybe be looking to make the inexorable, debuffs that are stacking on the boss not affect the Earthen Shard damage and just affect the Crushing Stomp damage, because it's really hard to pre-defensive the Earthen Shards, and as they currently stand, the mechanic is very bad. Also, reducing the Earthen Shard damage by a little bit would be sick. Emberon, please God bug fix Emberon. I would also be looking to reduce, the unstable Embers dot. That this entire mechanic with the unstable Embers with the fire or with the magic damage dot is a bit tough. I would be looking to reduce how much damage that's doing. And then on top of that, I would be maybe looking at, I probably think Deus is maybe in a little bit of an okay spot, so maybe I wouldn't be looking at Deus. Purifier damage could come down a little bit. I think the golems are mostly okay, but I think the purifiers, just the amount of damage that they're doing, they could come down to about 10%. This dungeon is just incredibly cringe. Not a very fun dungeon, to the point where you have to like this level of a first pull in this dungeon. Look at some of the we're routing this dungeon, and these are some of the first pulls that we were doing in this dungeon, because this is what you have to do to time this key. All in all, not a great dungeon. So with those specific nerfs that you would do outlined, let's take a look at what Blizzard actually did. I thought this was a bad joke. So for dungeons, Neltharus, Chargath, Slag Eruption duration reduced to 3 seconds was 4. Fetter duration increased to 15 seconds was 12. Addressed an issue where canceling Dragon Strike using invisibility will lead to Grounding Chain not being cast. This is good. These other two from Chargath, healers were having issues healing the debuff. I get it. It's probably fine. Never going to complain about this, especially if healers were having problems being able to heal that, especially if your tank was a bit of a griefer. Where are the other nerfs? Where are the other nerfs to the problem mobs? Like, dude, where are the hunters? The hunters are like the easiest slam dunk of, if you've zoned into this dungeon, you've been killed by a hunter. These mobs are illegal. Basically, we start running routes that are, what is this dungeon? No hunters. Like, that is the kind of stuff that people are doing in this dungeon, because the hunters are really bad. And so only hitting Chargath is a bit of a joke, especially since Forge Master, I think, is arguably a little bit harder than Chargath, but that's neither here nor there. The fact that Chargath didn't get is the only thing that got hit here is the problem. Uldaman, where are the other nerfs? All right, Bromac Quaking Totem's health reduced by 10%. That's sick. That's fine. The damage needs to come down. Like, the damage of this entire phase is like way too high. Obviously, if you're playing with a Resto Druid, it's a lot easier. But if you're playing with any other healer that's not a Resto Druid, it's like near impossible. So, like, this phase isn't very fair. For Emberon, addressed an issue where Purging Flame's visual doesn't line up with the beam area. I mean, they've said this like 3 or 4 times, which I hope it's true. Like, this is an obnoxious bug to wipe to. Every single time you wipe to this bug, it's like incredibly cringe. But then, you know, it's not addressing the fact that unstable embers and burning heat damage is just kind of honestly very silly with how much damage it's doing to you. And like nerfing that, like this dungeon is by far the hardest and most annoying dungeon. These are the 2 hardest and by far most annoying dungeons of the season. The fact that these are the only nerfs that are being hit on them is pretty laughable. Yeah, I mean, that's all we really have today. I mean, I just kind of wanted to make this as more of like a satire piece, kind of talking about Season 4. I've actually kind of been having fun playing Season 4 with my friends. Not a lot of people are playing Season 4, which is a bit unfortunate. And, you know, with that being the case, it makes it a bit harder to find a tank. But in general, it's more just like the gameplay is fun. Dragonflight as a whole for Mythic Plus has been fairly fun. You know, I kind of wish there was a little bit more dungeon tuning, but I do understand why Blizzard's not putting any attention towards it. Just kind of sucks. Yeah, those are basically my thoughts. Dude, I also started editing this video and forgot to add an important point to it. So I have to edit this in after the fact. What in the hell? Why are these, you know, bugged runs still in? Like this Neltharus 3 chest, you know, the Aug Academy 3 chests. Like, why are these runs still in? Please, Blizzard, take them out. Like, this is straight up garbage. What else did it happen? Did it happen in Uldaman too? I think somebody also bugged Uldaman in the same way. But dude, please, God, Blizzard, take these runs off the leaderboard and if you're not going to ban these people, man, at least remove the runs. Like, what in the hell is going on? Anyhow, goodbye.